So tell us a little bit about the problem you're trying to solve here.
So we all know that data volumes continue to grow, and as a result, e-discovery costs continue to grow as well. And some people say time is money. Well, data is money. So our clients came to us to help solve the problem of how do we cut down the cost? How do we contain the cost, particularly for larger, more complex matters that may go on for a significant period of time. One way of doing that was for us to be able to help identify data that they don't need right at that moment and to be able to put it aside. Traditionally not that easy to do. If you want to archive data, it might be an all or nothing kind of component. We've enabled them to be able to do slices of data. So you could put secondary custodians aside, any data that you don't need at the moment, but be able to look at it and see some insight into it when you need to bring it back, or if you need to bring it back, be able to quickly retrieve that as well.
And this is saving your clients on
50% of the storage costs for their active storage.
Can we talk about it from a workflow perspective for a moment? How do your customers interact with the data and decide what to put on nearline storage or bring back on? What point in the case are they making these decisions? How do they do it in Relativity?
That's the beautiful thing about nearline that we've provided in Relativity. Virtually any workflow that you could think about, you could think of, I want to move this data over. And when I talk with our case managers, consultants, different clients, they can come up with ways that they would do it. So for example, maybe your legal team does the privilege review at the end. But as you're starting to learn about your case, identifying those documents that are potentially privileged, you can set those aside. Maybe you want to only review primary custodians first, set aside the data for the secondary custodians. Or you've reviewed data, you've got it as not responsive, it's gone through the quality control. There's no reason to pay the full storage cost for the documents you know you're not going to produce. Go ahead and set those aside as well. I think the possibilities are endless when you look at the complex problems you're trying to solve and looking at what makes sense from a review workflow perspective. That's when you can decide which pieces of data you want to move over. It's not an all or nothing. It could be one document, it could be the entire workspace.
So you're just streamlining all the documents that are involved in the litigation with this tool.
Absolutely.
And I heard you just say something that makes it sound like you do have a pretty good roadmap for this application.
We do indeed. Right now you look at it's all or nothing again. I think at the keynote you talked about the archive, when you're archiving off all of those components. Well, what if you could archive off in a nearline state and still be able to quickly get data back that you're going to use repeatedly? So we all have known those documents that are used in a lot of different matters. Maintaining that work product as well and deciding when you've got the new matter, I need to bring those over without having to reprocess those, and being able to see the work product that you have from previous cases is one way that we're looking at using it as well.
It's pretty cool. Can you talk a little bit about how the Relativity platform lets you create kind of like that seamless view between the active and nearline documents?
Absolutely. I might start geeking out on this one here, but
careful, all your developers here.
All the developers are here. I'm going to tell you this little quick story. The right guy. You know what? It's incredibly extensible and really easy to develop some really robust applications on it. There are some things that somebody like myself could do, but then there's some more complex things like our engineers and developers could do that I can never touch. We have the joke, this is so easy, Wendy could do it. This is something that we need to have the engineers do. But what I really enjoy about it is how open your API and the platform is, that you've gone and eliminated sort of that Franken code. For those of us who've been in this industry for a while, you hear about providers or software vendors that say, we've built something that works with your review tool. With your review tool might be a misnomer. You go out, it's a little clunky, it doesn't work anything like the tool that you're in, and then you got to pull it back in. With Relativity's open platform, you don't leave Relativity. You still have that same intuitive, easy to use experience, whether you're doing a traditional out of the box review with Relativity or you're using it with nearline.
I think that is pretty cool. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in the platform that you can use without any programming experience, and then there's the more advanced stuff that you can get into. So, cool. You want to take a look at some screenshots
Absolutely.
here?
So just like some of the imaging profiles or analytics profiles, we've provided you with the opportunity to set some defaults. So in this particular one, or to look at sort of retrievals, the ability to move information back. So not only can you say, I want to move this to nearline, now when you want to pull it back, it needs to be easy. One of the best examples might be, I'm going to do a production. Maybe I broke my families. I want to keep my families together. You could point to an active search. It's going to go out to that nearline set, and it will find any of the children for that family and pull them back for you so that you don't inadvertently break your families. Also being able to choose to propagate those down to any of your relational groups as well. In this particular one, this is where you are actually choosing to send documents to nearline. So again, keeping it in the spirit of an intuitive use and using relativity the way that reviewers would want to use it, identifying those documents, and it's a mass action. Just take them away. You're going to send them to nearline. You're going to make a choice of whether you want to nearline documents that are in persistent lists or not, because maybe you want to retain those in a list for quality control purposes. You're also going to make the choice of whether you want to propagate down to any of your relational groups that you've got within your workspace.
Nice. I like the use of the mass operation there.
Keep it simple. I think this one was actually where you actually identify the documents you want to send to nearline.
Got it. And then you do the mass op.
And then you do the mass operation. This is just a quick report, be able to see how many documents I've got in my nearline, how many documents I still have active. If you've got a lot of nearline sets, to be able to quickly filter on those. You can see the count that you've got in there, when you initiated it, and of course who requested it.
It's great. Well, Wendy, thanks for coming and talking about Kroll Ontrack Nearline.
Thank you.